Hi, hello, welcome back to the Pure Social Podcast and Merry Christmas to you. I hope you had the best weekend with your family, with your friends, or maybe just with you, yourself, and you, right? Like, I know everybody's holidays are different, but I really hope that you just took the time to relax, unplug, and just enjoy the holiday or the peace and quiet or whatever it was. Merry Christmas to you. It is still Christmas to me, like well into January. I kind of go through a mourning period because I love Christmas so much. And it just like flies by. Like, I cannot believe we are in nearly halfway through December right now when I'm recording this. Feels wild. Like, it's going by way too fast. Anyways, okay. So this episode, we are talking about my 2023 predictions for social media, digital marketing for next year. And hopefully these predictions are going to help you kind of create your plan and your strategy for next year. The good news is there isn't anything that's going to be like, what? Excuse me? I'm not prepared. So take a deep breath of relief with that, because there's not anything that's going to like totally stun you. If anything, it's just going to be amplified of what we've seen in 2022, you're going to see in 2023. So let's get started. This first one I know is not really going to be a surprise, but the first prediction that I have is more video content. More video content on all platforms. We have seen YouTube, which this is kind of funny to me. YouTube, already a video platform, creating even more avenues for video with YouTube Shorts. We're seeing Pinterest has come out with pin ideas. It's been around for quite some time now, for the last year. We are seeing Facebook release their Reels. We are seeing, obviously TikTok has been around for quite some time. We've seen Instagram obviously really dive headfirst into that whole spectrum of videos, but right, everybody's really getting into the video marketing. And I really wouldn't be surprised if we eventually see Twitter come out with something, or even LinkedIn coming out with like little mini workshops or webinars that they would host, because LinkedIn is such an educational type and more professional forum. I would not be surprised if we see more video content coming out there. So what does that mean for you? If you have been kind of hiding behind some of your marketing with static posts or graphics because you're like, nah, video's not going to last that long. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but video is not going anywhere. If anything, it's going to be amplified. So this is your sign. This is your encouragement to just get on video. I do have a Reels masterclass course that really walks you through everything from A to Z for using Reels. But what you learn in that workshop, or in that course, I should say, is really just short form video content and how you can repurpose it on multiple platforms, right? We've talked about multi-purposing your content on a few other podcasts before, but you don't need to be making different content for each of those platforms. It's a one and done type of thing, right? So you make one piece of content that's for Instagram, you can then go repurpose it on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Pinterest, right? So get smart with your content creation, but really it's all about video. It's okay. Once you just get it out there, once you get that bad piece of content out there, you're like, okay, I can do this. And everybody else around you is like, okay, she did it. I can too. And hers is actually pretty good. They're going to look at yours and think that it's actually really good. And you're going to be like, that was absolute trash. And to other people, you're just leading the charge. So I hate to say it. I'm excited for it personally, because I think video is such a great way to absorb content. It's a lot faster. It has higher conversion rates. It can be fun to make when you have fun with it. So I'm personally excited for more video content, but I know for those of you that are like, I don't want anything to do with it, I believe in you. You can do this. I strongly have faith that you can do this. Your business needs it as well. Let's just talk black and white right now. Video content really is not going anywhere. It's getting amplified. So I really would encourage, for the sake of your business growth in the next year, you might be doing just fine right now, but think of how much more you could be doing, how much more you could be selling, how many more clients you could be booking if you just bit the bullet and got on video. Okay, my second prediction is going to be more authenticity. And what I mean by that is, slowly but surely this year, we've kind of seen the really curated, very meticulously put together, same colors, all the things, those types of feeds really start to die. And we're starting to see just more authentic, real, behind the scenes. People are really starting to call out really the filtered look. They're starting to say like, this is not what my my face looks like. When they put a filter on, they're like, this is not what my face looks like. No wonder we all have problems with our self-image. But even just the curated feeds, as much as I still actually very much enjoy them, and there's a little bit of a curated look to my feed, but it really comes from just my branding colors and just using the exact same color filter. I don't use a filter that changes my face. It just brightens up the colors a little bit in my video. There's that curated look. And then there's the curated, everything has to look perfect. Everything has to look seamless, has to look like a highlight reel. That has really faded a lot in the last year. And honestly, thank goodness for that. We want to see the authentic and the real and the honest and the raw and the genuine, more of like peeling back the curtain of what it means to walk in your shoes. If you're a business owner, an entrepreneur, an influencer, a content creator, whatever it is that you do, people want to see what makes you tick, like what happens behind the scenes. So more content of kind of an onlooker's perspective. And I know that you've seen this type of content. It's kind of like somebody's daily vlog and they're like, this is my morning routine. And the camera is set up in a way that it looks like it's a person watching and kind of peeking in on somebody's life. You're looking at them make coffee. You're looking at them working at their desk. You're looking at them, walking their dog or, walking down the street. They have their camera or their phone set up in a way that it looks like it's somebody else's point of view, which truly gives you that behind the scenes peek at what does your day-to-day look like. And people are getting really honest and really authentic with that. I am obsessed with it. I think it is the coolest movement. I love it. I think it also takes the stress off of everything looking super perfect. So I'm really excited to see more of that authenticity and more people really leaning into their own voices. People are not nearly as afraid to just be themselves on socials, and they're really being celebrated. And I'm just here for it. I'm so here for it. So if that's you, that you've ever felt nervous or scared, apprehensive, just anxious about being yourself on social media, seriously, now is your time. Now is the time to get on video. First of all, get on video and be yourself. You don't have to be a certain way. You don't have to look a certain way. You can absolutely be yourself. If that is like spunky, peppy, a little bit loud, out there, extroverted, do it. If you're actually the opposite, do it. You can show that introverted, more shy, just more reserved side of you through video, and you don't necessarily have to talk. You can actually get a big message across and not be super vocal and loud about it. That's kind of the beauty about video, is in text and in graphics, when we're reading something, we actually tend to make up our own tone of voice. And I actually learned this in an acting class when I was talking to the professor about postponing my participation in that class because I had gotten booked for a cruise ship. And I was like, hey, I can't come to your acting class anymore. And she actually wasn't going to give me a refund, even though I hadn't even been to the classes yet. And she put in her email, she said, I just want to note that I know that emails and text can come off really harsh and more harsh than we intend them to be, but just know that I'm saying this out of love, respect, and, right, the kindest of tones. And it didn't hit me until she had said that, yeah, we read text in a little bit of a harsher, just really stale one-line tone. And that's why I really try and read a lot of emails when I'm in kind of a uncomfortable, maybe controversial conversation. I'm like reading it in my head, like really happy and really like loving and kind because it just helps me not get too upset. But here's the thing, when we're just putting out static posts, those still photos and it's captions or it's carousels with just text, you are leaving it up to the reader to interpret your tone of voice, versus when you're on video. And just like I'm talking to you right now, if you're watching this on YouTube or if you're obviously listening to this on a podcast, you can hear the tone of voice that I have. You can even sometimes detect
when I have a smile on my face,
because some
of my wording becomes a little
bit wider as I smile, but right, you can hear that. That's plain as day. You don't even have to guess what it is. And that's really the beauty of the video side of things and being more authentic and showing who you are as a business owner. And it allows people in to your world a little bit. And it also gives them the opportunity to get to know you better, to like, know, and trust you better, and ultimately convert into customers and clients, which is what we all want at the end of the day, right? Okay, my third prediction that I have is influencer marketing is seriously going to skyrocket in 2023. We've already seen it become massive in 2022, and really the years before, it's been a growing industry. And I feel like before, in the last couple of years, people haven't really taken influencer marketing and that as a profession very seriously. And now I really feel like the tides are turning, which is a great thing. Right. So when we go out and we're meeting new people and they ask what we do, we can say, oh, I'm an influencer. I'm a content creator full time. And there might be some people that are like, really? You're an influencer? And you're like, really? Check out my paychecks. Okay. Okay. But I feel like that's really changing in the next year or so. It's going to skyrocket. Brands have caught on to the fact that they can save so much money when they work with content creators, but we can still get paid a good amount of money for our work. So I'm not saying that we're going to get paid less, but when you think about how much a brand has to pay the camera crew, the editing crew, the actors, the set, right? The materials, the screenwriters, the copywriters, like they're paying so many people versus paying you, they can save quite a bit of money on that because they're paying, that one person and their, handful of team members. And we can still get paid a pretty penny versus before they were probably paying like easy 5 figures on a commercial when they can get it from a content creator that has a devoted following or an audience that trusts them. Like that's what they want to tap into. So it's great news for influencers and content creators. So if you have been thinking about getting into that space, sister friend, let me tell you, now is the time. My fourth prediction really talks to those that have a brick and mortar. If you have an in-person business, there is a movement going on and it's called the grand reopening. Basically, a lot of states and a lot of locations are starting to open back up, and if not, a lot of places already have, and they have been for the past 6 months, if not a year. And I say that because me living in Wisconsin, where I'm living right now, it has felt open for the last year. It just feels so wild. It feels like COVID never really even happened. Like people still kind of talk about it, when I got COVID or pre-pandemic, like those are the keywords that you hear, which is so funny to hear that in dialogue because it's, kind of a historical thing that's now happened in our lifetimes. But this past year, there's just been this grand reopening of businesses. And I really, really saw it firsthand when I was Black Friday shopping. It wasn't as crazy as years before because what's happening with businesses is they are having to double down on both their social media, digital marketing, as well as their in-person marketing and their hiring. Like we've obviously seen that there's a big hiring shortage. Like places and businesses are having trouble filling spots and they're very understaffed. We hear that a lot. So there's just this grand reopening kind of problem, I should say, is we are trying to keep up with our digital marketing and our social media marketing, but we're also trying to hire enough people that we can staff our business so that's also runs smoothly. We got really good at the in-person stuff first. Like we had that down for so long, and the social media marketing, like it was coming, it was really coming along. And then COVID happened, or the pandemic happened, and lockdown, and we were really forced to go to the digital marketing, social media marketing route. And then we got really good at that, and like, oh my gosh, now we have to do both. So what I see happening is a surge in not only in-person hiring, but also online person hiring. Those people that were in person that went to online that are going back to in-person, those spots that they're leaving behind in their digital marketing, their social media marketing spaces, they need to be filled, which is, again, great news for those that are wanting to work from home. They want to have the option to be a virtual assistant, to be in the comfort of their home, working still full time. It's great news as far as hiring, but also not the most great news from the business owner that has the in-person. It's definitely doable, and we'll see how 2023 really pans out. But that is also something that I am curious to see how that's going to work. I feel like some people are going to realize, oh, dang, we actually do much better online than we do in person. So there's really no reason to have the expenses of being in person versus just online. So it'll be interesting to see like how that pans out. Okay, my fifth prediction is Instagram and TikTok will continue to battle it out. And anyone that says that Instagram is dying could not be further false, untrue, not correct, incorrect. So many different ways you can say that. They're so dead wrong. And I will stare at them straight in the face and be like, no, you could not be more wrong. Instagram is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Yes, it might be annoying to those of us that are like, can Instagram just be Instagram? And I think they've heard that feedback from us, which is why photos are not gone. Static posts are not going anywhere. They're just building on top of what they already have. But they do know that video content is the future, and they're not going to ignore that. They saw that with TikTok versus TikTok. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the news lately, but there's been just quite some controversy with TikTok and the security behind it. So if anything, I'm more so worried about what happens to TikTok versus Instagram is much more stable, been around for over 10 years, has really kind of got it down. And now they're tweaking, perfecting, adding, they're listening. So if anything, Instagram truly to me is a beast compared to TikTok. Yes, TikTok has more active users and more active app time. However, Instagram still has more registered users, if that makes sense. So more registered users, way more features, and it's so much easier to communicate with people. They have features that TikTok is also now trying to copy with the stories. Both apps are trying to take on what Be Real app does, where it's posting in the moment. Again, going back to that more authenticity we were talking about previously. So we're going to see them continue to battle it out. I'm still a big advocate of everybody having an Instagram, but the thing at the end of the day that I want everybody to hear, so whatever you're doing, stop for a second. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. As much as I love social media marketing, we do not, as business owners, own our social media. So I want to just hammer it in your head. You need to have your own email list or a website of sorts where you can have something that you own, that your current clients and customers and your potential new customers and clients can visit and have access to you and have connection to you that's outside of social media. Something that I'm seeing in the news lately of TikTok is the potential banning of, right now it's just government issued personnel and phones that they use for security reasons. And it's no telling like how far that's going to go, right? So it's just, that could happen to any app, right? I'm not just picking on TikTok whatsoever, but we saw Instagram go down twice in the last 2 years. And a lot of people freaked out about that, and rightly so. Like all of their work, all of their connections, all their business is basically run from Instagram. So I just really encourage that you have something else outside of those apps that keeps you in connection with your people at all times. But Instagram and TikTok are just going to continue to battle it out. And like, I'm here for it. Instead of looking at those apps and being like, oh, this is so annoying, embrace it. I remember when Reels came out, I jumped on it so fast. And I remember either reading it in a book, I can't remember where it was, or I was listening to a podcast, but somebody said early adopters of new features usually reap the benefits of being an early adopter. And ever since then, it's just changed my perspective. When I see something new out there, it's not everything. I don't jump on absolute every single new technology train out there. Like I rarely touch TikTok. And Be Real, the only thing I know about that app is actually what it is. I've never downloaded it. Anyways, but hopping on new features right away, I always equate this to cosmetics. Everything goes back to makeup for me, but I always equate it back to cosmetics. When a brand new item comes out from a cosmetic company, like let's say that a brand comes out with a brand new lipstick, and their biggest push is to have that lipstick be successful. So they are going to showcase other people wearing that lipstick, right? They're going to showcase either reels, content, reviews. They are going to push that to the forefront. Those people are then going to get more exposure. They're going to get more connections. They might even get partnerships from it, right? So it's just a good idea, and it's just going to be so much easier instead of griping and complaining and getting frustrated about new features on social media. Instead, just be like, okay, how can I use this for my business? How can I use this to my advantage? Is this something that I can use to my advantage? Because maybe it's not. But instead of getting irritated and frustrated and then just boycotting it, think about how it can impact your business, because you never know. It could completely change your business for the better. Okay, my last prediction. This isn't necessarily a prediction. This is more so an ongoing thing that we just know to be true. No matter what type of content is out out there. If it's static posts, it's carousels, it's TikToks, it's reels, it's blog posts, whatever. Content value will always be king. What do I mean by that? When you're scrolling on whatever app, it's the hook, it's the opening line, it's the first thing that you see that is going to catch your attention, right? And then the value of that video, which is subjective, by the way, value is subjective to every single individual person. What I find valuable, you may not find valuable, or and vice versa, right? But what hooks somebody is that first couple of seconds. And then the value of that video continues on to me checking out their video, to liking more of their videos, to following, to seeing their offers, to seeing what they have to showcase, right? But that initial hook, that initial content value right at the beginning, that is always going to reign supreme, no matter what type of content it's being showcased in. Okay, that is it from me. I hope these 2023 predictions were helpful. I hope they were insightful. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and you're excited for the year to come. And again, Happy New Year's, because the next time I talk to you is going to be in 2023. Isn't that always so lame and so goofy to say? I'll see you next year. I'll see you in 2023. You're like, it's literally tomorrow, Mandy. Mandy, it's tomorrow, right? Okay, enjoy this week. Get excited for 2023. It's going to be amazing. Your business is going to do so well. I can feel it in my bones. And thank you for joining me this past year on this podcast. I hope that it has served you. I hope that it has helped you in some shape, way, or form. Let me know what you want to hear in 2023, who you want to hear from. I plan on doing many more guest interviews. I want to bring lots more people onto this podcast to bring different perspectives and testimonials and just their stories. That's really important to me, that I get a whole bunch of different people on here to share their stories, because you never know what's going to resonate. And I want to make sure that I'm just giving you the best content there is out there. So with that, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and I will see you in 2023.